Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey and Real Estate. I'm co-host Tone the Boss.
Lucas Burrington, Burrington Real Estate, AMMT Property Management.
Manikka.
And the better half. He's here to make us look good today.
We normally already have like a topic or something in mind, and
No.
not today.
Nope.
Not needed. There's always whiskey and always real estate. What kind of whiskey we got today?
So we got a recommendation. So one of our viewers gave us a recommendation of 5 whiskeys to try, and he said, look at the old Smokies. So there's like 10 different flavors, so we're going to have fun maybe in the next 10 episodes. This one's a peach whiskey, and this is Gatlin, Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, actually. So, you know, over by where they make the rest of, you know, the Jacks and the Jacks and the Jims and all the good whiskeys out there. So, hey, we're going to try it up. Let's try it up.
All right. I'll take a glass of that.
Oh. All right.
Say 1, 2. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Whew. That's good. That's good.
Ooh, that's smooth.
Yeah. Hold on. I got to take another one.
Yep. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, double sip that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Okay.
That's worth the flavor saver.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Need an ice cube.
Yeah, we definitely need to make an Amazon order. Of some,
Oh, yeah.
some big ice
Get
cubes.
those the plastic ones that you freeze. I think that'll be perfect specifically for the podcast. Maybe we get some custom ones.
You know. So, Tone, you're approaching music awards.
Yes, IMAs in 16 days from today.
Oh Lord,
It's pretty scary, pretty exciting. Every
Yes.
deadline I could possibly have is hitting me, and it's fun, stress. But I'm like, this is me. Like me and the old lady.
Yep.
It's really, really hard to explain how
Yep.
busy these days are and how consuming work can be.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what we do, we know our heart's in it. We know we're doing it for the right reasons. So it doesn't necessarily, yes, it's a lot of work, but it feels right.
Yep.
You know, and we know the end result that we're looking for. And honestly, the harder we work, the better the situation is for everybody else, including, you know, our significant others.
Yep.
So it's rewarding, but it is a lot of work to get to that reward.
Well, and I think that kind of gets into what, you know, some of the stuff I wanted to talk about today is because I'm approaching a lot of my deadlines too with just life. And then obviously this is where if you get into closings right now, 45-day closings, you're into December now. So this is the last rush before snow.
Yep.
So that leads us
And
into leads us into our next topic of market.
Mm-hmm.
So the market right now it's going crazy. This week's been nuts. On an average, I hold about 10 to 12 listings on a monthly basis. And, you know, you get your closings usually follow suit. You can be anywhere between 12 and 20. And we're not closing anything right now because buyers have been scarce until this week.
Okay.
And now this week has been insane. We're probably going to list 9 or 10 houses just this week. And I got a buyer. These sellers need to buy, and so it's kind of the snowball effect that's going on, and it's our last push before snow hits the ground because 45 days, no one wants to move with snow on the ground. So.
Exactly, and these Iowa winters are brutal.
Well, we got the hurricane season going on right now.
Oh,
you can't tell
man.
me that's not going to have an effect on what we got going on for winter.
Yeah. And prayers to everybody, you know,
Yeah,
affected
fact.
by these hurricanes. I just saw these tornadoes that are hitting, and it's just ridiculous. It's funny how things just affect everybody. Like, you can't just, dang, that's crazy, and like move on. Like, we had a song dropping today, and our song got pushed back because of the hurricane. And I'm like,
crazy.
how is that even correlated? And the offices of our distribution company was based in Florida, and they were like, we haven't had power for 5 days. Your song can wait. And I didn't snap back. I'm like,
can't. You're right.
yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's like my boys that I played college ball with that are still friends of mine, like Javier and, you know, Omar, Adrian, all of them. If you ever listen, I mean, we thinking about you because they're right in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Port St. Lucie area out there, and that area is just getting annihilated right now.
So this could be the whole episode, honestly, because like what happened? Like, I feel like if you're in Florida, there's no way I would be an insurance company and allow you to have insurance in Florida. Like, and I'm sorry, that's such a horrible thing, but like, let's just talk about business here.
Yep.
These hurricanes happen. Like, if you're on a port, Gulf, whatever, what house insurance? Hey, we don't cover any act of God. Like, what do we cover?
So, it's one of those that, those waivers and riders. That's why insurance company has it that says we'll cover everything but this.
Right.
So now, but, you get into that, and, Iowa, few years back had the derecho, the inland hurricane, they call that. And so.
And I bet insurance companies now have a derecho clause. Like,
well, hell, they're talking, there's some of the big companies, like, let's just use State Farm as an example, that are potentially, and rumor has it, won't be selling homeowners insurance in Iowa anymore. Heard that today going into a bank.
Oh, insurance. Yep. I'm sorry. I would say the biggest scams in America are taxes and insurance.
Well, until you need them, and that's.
But when you need them, they don't want to pay up.
It's true. That is true.
They want to drop you. They want to up your rate. Like, oh, you used us. Ew. Like,
right. In fact, you needed us.
It's not how this works.
Well, in real estate right now, we're running into it where there's a lot of companies that are making it hard to get homeowners insurance. There's very few companies that really are promoting the homeowner insurance side of it now. And there's companies that are just getting out of it because of the loss they've taken from the derecho and from the floods and whatever not that's happened in Iowa over the last 20 years or 18 years, whatever. Yeah. So
because I imagine something like a derecho could probably put some insurance companies out of business. Like, whoa, we didn't expect that. Like, when
you're affecting 250,000 houses, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's nuts.
So when it comes to these Florida homes, all right, I bought a house. I'm in Florida, and hurricane destroys it. How does that affect the market? Are now people shopping for houses? Are they?
It is.
What do you do when you live there?
Oh man!
Or if this is your house you inherited, like it's a family, it's gone. Start over.
Yeah, no insurance claim is going to pick up Johnny socks and put them back on. They gone. So it's one of those things that it has a positive and a negative effect. So let's talk about the negative impact. Negative impact: you have a lot of people displaced. So you got a lot of people displaced, not enough homes to put them in.
Like they do these warnings and they're like, evacuate.
Yeah.
Like I saw something that was just horrible. I might have mentioned it on this podcast, but they were like, if you're not evacuating, go ahead and write your full name and date of birth on your arm.
My buddy was talking about that.
That is the saddest shit ever. Like,
my buddy was talking about that.
Yeah, and but it's like, what if you don't have a vehicle? Like, all you have is this house. Like, where are you going? Is there like evacuation? When does the National Guard step in? And again, what happens after you've been displaced? Like, what are we doing to get these people in new homes?
That's where the property managements come into play. So like during derecho, we had to find housing for people, and we were one of the few that had housing for people also to come to when people were getting displaced. So insurance companies, the first thing the insurance companies are doing, they're calling around to the property management companies saying, hey, we have this insurance check. We're going to get you guys into a place to stay for the next however long. So the insurance company comes in and pays for that rent.
Okay.
And property management companies win on that one because we get a charge. I mean, rent's higher then.
Yeah.
When demand's high, rents go high. Yeah. So,
and it's you're getting it from the insurance company, not this displaced family. So it's not, it's not a question of morals then.
Yep.
But I will ask, like, all right, for instance, derecho, you've got vacant apartments. These people just lost their home. Is there any leniency? Is there any, what are we doing? How can we help? But also, we're running a business here.
Well, and businesses can file insurance too on something like that. So if they got a lot of lost income because of people not being able to pay, or they don't have a place to stay, there's businesses can do the insurance side of it too. Now you get into so the negative is obviously the displacement of family and friends and belongings and trying to find a place to live. The positives in the real estate industry is every area is getting beautified now because you're going to have like, let's use Iowa. You got neighborhoods that all have new sidings, new roofs, new, dump houses that, were running down the area. And now they're brand new across the thing because insurance came in and paid for new sidings, new roofs, new windows. And
irony of the derecho, and I hope I've brought it up before, but like when I sold my house, we had to drop like $10K because we found out I needed a new roof.
Right.
I sold my house a month before derecho.
Yeah.
I drove by after things cleared up, like, what the hell? Let's see what happened to the house that I would have been in.
Yeah.
Big ass tree through the roof. I will say it was through the bedroom, so like, let's just say God may have just protected me. Like, yeah, you would have got a new roof, but you also would have needed a new tone. So, but I was just like, they're going to get a new roof off insurance.
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
But there's a lot of what ifs in different case scenarios. So
I mean, a lot of those inspection items that were coming up, like the inspection reports are cleared because everything's got
new countertop in the kitchen. Yeah, I think we got some debris on that.
Yep. You had some side wind come in your window. That's why that floor is buckling. You got wet inside and the floor is buckling now because of that. You aren't kidding. How did you know? I mean, we had a lot of that. I mean, I got new floors in my basement. I mean, it did. And I mean, I had some side rain.
Spilled a glass of water. Looks like there was flooding down here.
There's some side rain.
Damn that derecho.
Yeah, I mean... So you got your positives, you got your negatives, but I mean, natural disasters in itself, Mother Nature has its own way of, fixing itself sometimes too. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes there is areas that need to get just wiped the hell out and start over.
We had some things that lasted too long in the flood zone.
Yeah.
And the flood's like, no, time check doesn't need to look like this, and people still go there.
I mean, me as a property manager, and I was just getting rolling, and me as a realtor, I'm like, okay, I got this guy coming in with 37 properties. He wants me to manage them, and he also wants me to sell them throughout the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. I'm jacked. I'm like, all right, this is going to be, $4 million worth of properties, and we're going to have a hoot. I'm going to have a continuous income coming in, either be from the management side or the sales side of this. And all of them were in the floodplain. And I'm walking
what?
them. And I'm walking. Yeah, I'm walking them. And I'm like, man, like seriously, you like had to watch where you were stepping to make sure you didn't kick like one of the beams that would have tipped over the house type situations.
Oh man.
And me being a bigger guy, I'm like, I'm not going up those stairs. I don't care if there's 2 bedrooms up there. I'm not. So I had to turn down the whole deal. Like, I'm not going to sell them. I'm not going to manage them. But derecho came and knocked them all over.
Oh my God.
So like when I said you could kick a beam and watch him go, I mean I think he lost 18 out of the 37 in derecho that like were complete losses.
Oh no.
And the ones that weren't complete losses got like completely remodeled because of the money that came. So I did end up selling them, here we are 10 years later. But
So let's hypothetically be property owners in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening to your business, your pocketbook, when a hurricane hits and you had all your properties on the port, on the coast, the beach houses that...
You're praying for insurance. That's all you're doing at that moment because they're
like probably begging them. Like they're probably gonna try. Because they're gonna try the bullshit immediately. Like, oh, I'm so. Did you read page 397?
Hey, I'm telling you, we're gonna come up and do 5 squares of that roof for you because I think that's all that was damaged.
Oh,
so you're gonna tell me we had 125 mile an hour winds here. And 5 squares of my roof came up, and everything else is great.
We're gonna send one of our guys out to inspect.
Everything else is great. So it's like, so thank God Iowa came up with a rule, and I don't know if it's national. They came up with a rule: if you can't match it, you have to replace the whole thing.
Okay.
Because you did have insurance companies that are like, yeah, you need to get
just 5 tiles.
Squares. Yeah, this is built in 1918. And you got a 30-year-old roof here that I can't find that shingle anymore.
Yeah.
You can't just
the inventors of that
squares.
Shingle are all dead.
So thank God they had some of those, but the ones that didn't know the laws, some of those adjusters were sure trying to say, you know what? insurance company says. I'm like, well, bullshit. They're like, you need to go to the store to find this. I'm the hell no, I don't. I'm not the adjuster. You came here to tell me I had a problem.
Right.
Okay, you recognize the problem. Now you want me to go price it? No, that's your job.
Oh man.
So I mean, but yeah, that's
yeah. So they just have to deal with insurance, and it's
they're praying for insurance, and there's
praying,
loss.
probably fighting, probably.
Yeah, and the business owners have umbrella coverages where, if there's a loss of income due to certain areas, like in COVID was a prime example when we had a loss of income because of that. And some insurance companies do come in and step in and cover some of that. So, I mean, man, I tell you, it is just another reason why they can have you by the balls, and make you at the mercy of having to pay that premium because of something like that would happen. And you never know what you're going to get with insurance companies either, because you got some good ones that just were like, okay, we understand this was a disaster. We're here to cope with you. We're here to do that. And so we're here to help.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Yeah.
Okay, it's cost this. It's probably going to cost this. So they give you a little more extra.
Yeah.
But then you get the bigger ones that you're like, you do realize I just lost everything? You want to fight me?
Yeah. Excuse me?
Yeah. Let's talk about this.
How much my grandma float away? I don't Are we arguing right now?
Yeah. This is crazy.
God. Yeah.
So, they make it a dispute, and I mean, some roofers and siding companies made a living off taking the headache off the homeowner, where we'll deal with your insurance company. Nice. And so they did all the disputing, they did all the fighting because they got paid more on insurance money, so they wanted to win too.
Yeah, they don't even want your money. Oh, I'll handle the insurance thing.
Yeah.
I know a guy. We've got relationships with him.
Yeah, let me fight.
Did you say
for
State
this.
Farm?
Yeah.
Bob will take care of it.
Yeah. And so
I know Jake.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff was going on, and that's where they created value. And I mean, it's what they make and what they get paid is insane on some of these contractors, but they're also taking the headache away. And at the end of the day, your average homeowner doesn't care what it's going to cost as long as it's getting paid by someone else and it's getting fixed.
Yeah.
So
okay, so we're talking from the perspective of property management or real estate. What are we doing as the victims of, derecho destroyed my home, this new hurricane, but I got family in Iowa.
Yeah,
and we're probably just starting over here.
Well, let's just take today's world in general, not just natural disaster, because we got a bunch of refugees that are getting, misplaced and whatever not, and dropped off in buses and saying, go find a place to go, Yeah. So we have a lot of these insurance companies, or you got a lot of these agencies that are helping these refugees and whatnot, or immigrants that are coming over, find places. So we're getting bombarded with those types of phone calls and people with no social security cards and so on and so forth. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on right now, and that's just not natural disaster misplaced or placing people. This is just the environment we're in today, where we've just had how many million people come across that border that didn't have a place to go.
Oh man.
So when they said they were taking people in the middle of the night and drop them off on buses, it's true. We get to see them on our end.
Yeah, I've seen those footage, the footage where they've been dropped off at the White House, and that's real.
So man, this is where it gets funny. Let's talk about a little bit of karma.
Oh man,
let's let karma talk here. So and I'm not taking any road on this political side of it, but it was great.
Disclaimer.
So obviously we know that the border situation was all boggled up. It was open borders. Everyone come across.
Yep.
So what they were doing is taking these people as they were coming across. They're going through the port of entry, or where they're getting caught. Then they were releasing them into the United States. And how they would release them into the United States is they put them on buses and they'd take them to Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, so on and so forth. And so the Texas Governor Abbott in Texas said, you know what, this shit's bullshit. You keep dropping people off.
What the fuck?
And I mean, you had towns that were tripling in size, within weeks. I mean, literally. So they didn't have places to put people. So these people were staying on the streets. So Governor Abbott, like where Obama and Biden and all the bigwigs have Martha's Vineyards.
Yeah.
off limits, and you couldn't move the migrants or anything like that. So Governor Abbott in Texas said, hey, guess what? You guys are going to a really nice place. So he put them all on buses and took them to Martha Vineyards. Dropped them all off there.
It's your problem now.
It dropped them all off. So when they said they were getting dropped off at the White House, it wasn't the White House they were getting dropped off at. They were getting dropped off because these governors they were placing all these people, were packing them up and sending them right to their doorstep. And sent it to their areas. Oh, you don't want these people in your house? And within 48 hours, all those immigrants were moved and taken back down to Florida, California, Arizona by those people.
Yeah.
Now, if it was the other way around, they weren't allowing them to move them. So within 48 hours, of those people had said, no, hey, guess what? We're not a sanctuary area. We don't want these people.
Yeah,
We don't want all these people
when
here.
it's at your doorstep, you'll figure it the hell out.
And now, yes, please move them. But so Texas and Florida are looking at them like, so it's okay to drop them off here, but not there? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, when you were hearing stories like that, that's the stuff that was going on. And so they were saying, you're using these people as political pawns. Opening the borders was a political pawn. Because now you're flooding the United States and you want people, you're giving them IDs and the right to vote right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, you're giving them right to vote. And who do you think they're going to vote for? The guy that shut down the border or the guy that opened the border? When you got people who are coming across saying, no, I love Joe Biden because they're allowing him in the borders, that's congratulations. You just got 6 million more votes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
So I mean that's the real. No matter which line you want, that's the real. That's what happened. I mean that's the stuff that's happening. So,
well, if we're going there,
we're going there, man.
So let's talk about labor.
Well, labor and housing,
But yeah, I mean housing. I hear a lot of you can get some cheap paint roofers.
You ain't lying.
Is that your only comment on that?
Well, I know some people.
And this is the episode.
Yeah, here it comes. And I know there's a lot of my investors that watch this that can relate. So
it ain't just me.
It ain't me. I know some people that may travel to Menards and Home Depot at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and that's usually where they're waiting outside to see if what contractor's coming in to see if they ask their hands. Yes.
That's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. That's really smart on their part.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, I respect that.
Yep.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I'm like, are they getting they're stealing from Menards? Because there's property managers that already do that out here. But no, you're saying they're waiting to get employment and opportunity. Exactly. That's a hustler's mentality to me.
Well, and if you go down to the Arizonas, the Phoenix area and whatnot, I mean, and I have a guy that manages properties out here that I talk to on a frequent, and he came up from there, and he's like, man, that's how I found half my workers, is I would just go to Menards in the morning and see who needs work. And it ain't a lie.
What?
Yeah. And it's not a lie. I mean, I told Manikka to do the same thing. I mean, I'm like, you just need to go to Menards in the morning if we can't find where a painter is today.
Well, that's wild because Manikka's brought up, like, all right, you paid a crackhead to do it and you got a crackhead's worth of work. Yeah. But from what I hear, I'm trying to be as PC as I can, but the workers that aren't from here, no, I'm not saying that. The workers that are not from here are not only very affordable, but also good at it.
Yes.
You run across some that are good.
Lucas is like, yes. Lucas says, see.
Yes. See. Okay.
All right, we got to move on. Si, senor.
Why?
Better than a crackhead, Manikka.
Yes.
But let's get into it a little more, though. It does get in deeper. So this is really hurting like our local painters, our local roofers,
small
our local
business
siders.
Owners. That
it truly is hurting them because it's without a doubt. If we bring our normal painter's bid, and
it's too much.
Yep, it's double what they're charging, like not double what a normal person that's out there painting on a daily is charging. Yeah. But you do got some of these immigrants that are starting their own little painting companies and their own little siding companies, and their own and they're half the price.
Mm-hmm. Some are less than half.
Yeah, I mean, it's and so these investors are hearing it, so we get pressured on as property managers. Why aren't you calling more crews. Well, they're not licensed. They're not insured. But then
Didn't
you
make
get
it to Menards this morning.
yeah, yes. But they have a guy that is licensed and insured, and they just work underneath his umbrella then.
Yeah. Ooh.
So I mean, there is guys that are like that out there. So I mean, it is. We see it on every aspect. So we got the natural disaster, and we will get calls from Florida from insurance companies out of Florida that have family, friends, whatever, not out here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you got a spot for these people to stay for a period of time?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, we do. I mean, that's
Well, especially if you get that call from an insurance agent, because that's covered.
It's covered. Yeah. It's covered, and we can charge what we need to charge for an insurance company. They're like, we'll pay it regardless. Okay.
What do you do? And like I said, we were running a business. When you get that friend or family member from Florida, hey, you sell properties. I know you've got something vacant.
Yeah,
we just been displaced.
Yeah.
How? I lost my job, my home, my everything.
I am very big on.
Yeah,
that's where Manikka comes in.
Yeah, because she doesn't allow me to work with family and friends anymore.
Someone asked me the other day, because my house just came open again for rent. And so they goes, will you let a family member stay there? Hell no. I would never in my life rent to a friend. I would never in my life rent to a family member, because the first thing they're going to say is, I ain't got the money. You have money for your lace front. Why don't you have money for your... No. Yeah. I can't do it.
Your hair look nice, though.
Yeah.
You ain't got rent, but that's some nice nails.
That's what they'll give you. Like, come on, cuz. We've been... No. And it's sad when you have family that's in a situation like that, because... Or when you work with someone that has messed you over so many times, you never know, who to trust or how it's going to go. Yeah. But if you did everything that you're supposed to do as a owner or as a, whatever, you will have the funds that you need from your insurance. If you decided that, hey, I didn't want to pay my insurance company, but I wanted to go out to Vegas and having a good time, well, baby, you should need to prioritize it the way that it needs to go, because if you know where you're living at and you know that, you're going to come across a disaster. You need to make sure that what needs to be paid and what needs to be done is done. Don't be like, well, I figured I can go this long without it. We haven't had a hurricane or whatever and such, because you never know. And no, he's not.
Moral story, no. Well, I imagine in those situations, obviously, insurance has a lot of people to cover. That's going to take a while.
They're actually pretty quick on it, because they're not getting paid. The insurance companies aren't getting paid until that thing is settled. So the insurance companies want to get their end of it settled as quick as possible, because that's when the money starts coming in for them, is when it's like, okay, you're settled, you're in. Are you agreeing this is good for right now? Good, perfect, done, closed, on to the next person.
Is it usually better for them to get it done fast and let it linger?
Yeah. Yep. They're going to try to settle with you out of the gates. I mean, they're going to try right away, especially after what they've gone through for the last 4 years and what's going on. They're going to try to settle, get a claim in, get it approved. Just be like, okay, adjuster's been there. They'll be there within 48 hours. Here's what they're going to cover. Are you good with this? Okay, sign off. That says you're good with this. And you're like, well, hell no, I don't even know yet. Shit, we just got the roof off. We don't know if it leaked inside. We don't know this, blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot that goes into it. So... but it is a pretty quick process on getting placed, because the first thing they take care of is your home and your vehicles. Mm-hmm. So those are they want to make sure you got a roof over your head and the ability to travel. And that's usually squashed right away. So.
Okay. Where does FEMA come into all this?
Oh, Lord. FEMA broke.
What's that?
FEMA's waiting on its card to come. It ain't the third of the month yet. They ain't getting funded.
Dang, it's like that?
Well, what they say, we stuck like $65 billion into immigration, and now we're asking for $87 million for some of the areas in North Carolina, and they said, oh, we don't have that. So
you can have another one.
Yeah, and so we're at the very beginning of hurricane season, and so hurricane seasons could go another 2 months down south, and they're already out of money. That ain't good. That's not good at all, because appropriated funds weren't there. I mean, you say for what it is. It was poor leadership on trying to make sure that the funds are available, A, for hurricane season, but B, why are we covering everyone else's ass instead of our own? There's little militias getting formed out in North Carolina and in West Virginia that took the government and said, get out, just get out, we'll take care of it ourselves type situations. Yeah. Because they were holding them up more than they were, because there was one guy on the news the other day that watched, one of his buddies, literally, he was just waiting for support from FEMA to come in, and the waters rose and he was dead 3 days later. And it could have been prevented if he would have just gone in, grabbed his buddy, and got the hell out type situation.
Right.
But it's crazy. Where we're at right now in the disasters that we've seen, and yet to still come, because we're just approaching hurricane season, so hard to say. There's 190,000 pounds or whatever they were talking about. We need to Google this, because there's some crazy faux pas what started with this whole hurricane stuff, and then the government had planes dropping 190,000 pounds of dry ice that spurred everything. Come on, man. Stop it. It's way too much.
I refuse to believe the world is that. But.
Yeah, I agree. You got to be a miserable person to think that's really what's happening.
Yeah, I can't.
I agree. There's some corrupt shit going on in the world,
and there's some conspiracy theories. There's some truth to it. Stemmed from somewhere, but
not everything.
Not everything. And then there's just some. Honestly, there's just some shit I'd rather not know.
Exactly.
If that's what the hell they're doing and that's happening, let me just live my day by day until they decide.
When I was talking to a buddy 2 days ago, and he goes, "You do realize everything that's going on with the open borders and with this and with, the natural disasters and the hurricanes and whatever. They're pushing America to the middle of the United States. They're taking everyone from Florida, south, from south, and moving
all
everyone.
Those fires in California.
Yeah, they're it's like they're flocking everyone to the middle of the United States.
Welcome to Iowa.
Yeah, hey, welcome to the heartland. It's one of those, like, what, you look at it that way. I guess I see what you're saying, but come on, man, we're a resilient country, USA all the way. Where it's we faced some of the most treacherous stuff. We built stuff. We've built skyscrapers where there used to be swamps. America's going to be good. It's going to be great. It's going to be one of those that they're going to rebound. They're going to be resilient. It doesn't matter what line you walk on. There's going to be a time like what I was just saying, where they're just going to say, screw it. We got it. We got this.
Yep.
If anyone ever invaded Iowa, I feel bad for them. Because me growing up rural Iowa and then bouncing back between the cities, it is I feel safer in the city than I do in rural Iowa if I'm pissing people off, because I remember with a high power sniper gun or a high power shotgun sitting on one windmill, my other buddy sitting almost a mile away on another windmill, and we're shooting high power guns, just pick, hitting the blades as they go away. And I shouldn't say mile, but we're a good 500 yards away from each other.
Yeah.
And we're tap. So if there's someone that wants to invade Iowa,
we're Iowa nice until we're not.
Until we're not. And I'm telling you right now, don't go mess with the farm kids. And don't mess, because they've all been shooting since they were 3. They know how to make their own bullets, and they're loading guns, man.
Lucas driving off in that, what's that? Try that in a small town. What was it, Jason Aldean?
Yes. I completely related where he was coming from, because it's
certain people took that the wrong way, but being in a small town.
You understand. You get it. It's like we played a baseball game my junior year of high school, man. We weren't supposed to beat this team, and I pitched that night. I threw a great game. I think I threw like a one-hitter in that game, and the other team's catcher, pitcher, and first baseman followed our bus back from that baseball diamond in 2 hours. And by the time we got back, there was enough people to know as soon as I got off the bus that we had like 10 people were riling around this car, running them right the hell back out of town.
Yeah.
You want to come here? Okay.
Yeah, bet.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you don't mess around with some people in the small town areas, but it's the greatest militia in the world.
We talked in the beginning about deadlines. Talk about some of your actual current deadlines and things that you have coming up.
Oh Lord, how
what's
deep
your
do we
deadline?
get on this? Oh man, we got deadlines of the holiday season that's coming up, so we got to be planning. We got deadlines on houses closing. We got a whole bunch coming up on November 14th, so we got a bunch of closings that we're prepping for the next 30 days. We got end of the year deadlines coming up, so my end of the year is basically at the beginning of this last quarter.
Yeah.
Because by the time the end of the quarter I need to be done, ready, moved on. We got budgets and market plans that have to be set in place by the end of this month, so we can have them approved pretty much for next year.
Yeah.
We got to get letters out to investors this time of year to say, hey, we're raising management fees, we're doing this. These are the changes that are going on with the company. We got that. Then we got, hopefully, anytime in the next 3 weeks, we got the end of a 17-year trial of my life.
That kind of deadline.
Yeah, that should be any time in the next 3 weeks. That'll be a definite deadline. Then we got the music awards coming up. That's a deadline that we got to. I got to get my dad on board.
List, you still have not done.
I got a honeydew list that Manikka
3
can
months
tell you
over.
all about. Yeah,
Honeydew.
It's 3 months over. It's just things that he's supposed to do in the house. Like, for instance, change out the kitchen faucet. Bought it. Been sitting there.
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
porch.
been there.
2 months now. Got a pool we took down. Still sitting there in the grass.
I got it down.
Did you?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Okay.
Garage still, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, in our line of business, there is a lot of, you got your spring cleaning and your fall cleaning, and there is a lot of houses that need to get prepped for winter time.
Yeah.
There is a lot of that stuff, but the people that are out there don't understand that this is what we do every day.
Yeah.
We do it well every day, but when it comes to dealing with our own shit, it always gets put last.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what my honeydew list keeps growing because we're taking care of everyone else before we take care of
everybody.
ours.
No, I get my list done.
That's because you don't accept my honeydew list.
Just saying.
Because my honeydew
You
list
get
is still long
declined.
for you too.
My list gets done.
Yeah, the minute I give her my honeydew list, she quits. Like she tries to fire herself every week.
No, there's a
no.
difference between a honeydew list and you adding onto business lists of things that you are supposed to do, but now you threw it on my plate and messing up my deadlines and messing up my stuff.
So like Camille, my daughter, and her are like best friends, which is cool. It's awesome. I love it. And Camille asked her, "How was your day today, Manikka?" And she goes, "Well, I didn't quit today." So I'm like, "Yeah, thank God she didn't quit today." I mean, and I have to have team meetings with my staff, and I'm like, all right, and I'm doing all but looking straight at her in the eye, and I'm saying, okay, we have to have good attitudes today. We have to talk. We have to let people know that this ain't a hostile environment.
Yes.
We got to let them know that it's okay to make a mistake because it's what happens in business. And
What? Okay, you have a mistake. Okay, you go from 1, and then you go from 2, and then you're at like 40 right now, and it's the same thing. Like you are constantly meeting and correcting the same thing, and it's like it doesn't. I don't know.
so we busted
I
out.
ain't got the patience.
So I've been training people, and we're in a training period, and so I busted out, and I was teaching Manikka this, and teaching
more stuff to add onto my plate.
But it's called the 5-finger discount or the 5-finger slap.
What the 5 fingers say to the face?
Shit.
The Rick James, what's the hand say to the face?
What's the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap, bitch.
So the 5 fingers is, did you give clear expectations of what you needed them to do?
Okay.
Did you follow up? Did you follow up again? And did you clear expectations, follow up? Did you provide the proper stuff they needed? Then did you follow up again? And if you get to that 5 finger, and it normally goes like boom, 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 boom. If you get to here, they're saying F you, and that's when they need to go. That's when you've done everything as a manager, everything as a
that makes perfect sense.
And if you
He
get
hits the 5 finger every other week.
well,
and nothing.
I give him the benefit of the doubt because I got 4.5.
Lucas, we've never talked about that, right?
4.5.
Can we get to that episode? Can that happen? What happened?
Why?
So, jack of all trades, as managing your guys' property, I was moving snow. And so
Wait, how long ago was this?
2019.
This was 5 years ago?
5 years ago. So I was putting a snowplow on the front of my four-wheeler to go move snow for our properties. And one of our guys used the four-wheeler last. They wound the string backwards that holds the plow into place. So it's like a wench cable. It's a wench cable. So they wound the wench cable backwards. And so when you hit in, it went out. And when you hit out, it went in. And so I was in there. I go, give me some slack. And my finger was in the hook part of it. And when they gave me slack, it just went, pop, took it right off.
Whoa. Did it even hurt?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Well, like, when it took it off, like, was it an instant, like, and then...
It was instant. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, we got to go.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And so I quick threw my hand in the snowbank, and I looked at my significant other at the time. I'm like, you need to go grab the kids, turn the turkey off. I had a turkey cooking in the oven because it was going to cook all day. It was cold as hell. I couldn't wait to eat it when I got back because this was December 11th. This happened on December 11th, 2019. I know it like
is there a whole burial? Is there got a little...
Man, it was great, though. Anyway, so I threw my hand in the snow. Camille comes out just... losing her mind, and all she wants to do is see it, so I keep taking it out, and I'm like, go grab me a bag of ice.
Yeah.
And I'm talking pretty calmly through this because everyone else is losing their mind. Yeah. So I'm like, all right. And then I get us drove there and get to the...
Wait, what? Yeah. Wait, say that
and
again?
the whole time I got to take it out and show Camille again. She wants to see it. So I'm like, the whole time I'm like, here, I got a bag full of blood and the ice. And so we get in there and...
Did you say you drove there?
Yeah, we're good.
You drove yourself?
We were fine. It was only like 25 minutes because we were small town Iowa. And so got to St. Luke's and... They're like, are you okay? And I'm like, well, hell, I lost a finger. I pull it out of the bag. I'm like, I'm missing a finger. And they're like, do you know where the finger at? I goes, yeah, it's still in the snowplow. So I'm like, there's no putting it back on. They're like, all right, do you need anything right now? Well, it hurts like hell. I go, as long as I keep ice on it. And I go, but they need something. So I'm like, you might need to give them a Xanax or something like that because they're losing their mind still.
Oh, man.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was one of those that I lost it putting a snowplow on so I can go move snow for our properties. So.
Their rent would have went up. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know why I had to add another couple hundred a month, but
an investor called an attitude. I would have raised it.
I'm glad you handled it like that. My bad bodily injury. I dropped a flaming boiling pot onto my foot.
Oh yeah.
And I was coming out of the shower, so I had I was staying in town at a friend's. His girlfriend at the time put just chicken nuggets on a grease pot and went to do laundry. I start coughing while I'm in the shower. I come out with no clothes on. I see the fire, and it's not too crazy. It was like a mild fire, so I thought maybe I could grab this pot and get it out of the house so the house don't burn down. They didn't have a fire extinguisher, so I grabbed the pot. I'm right at the door. I practiced like 3-4 times how I'm going to do this. I grab the pot. I do the first step, and then all I got to do is dump it out. When I linked over to dump it out, the flame arose, burnt my hand, dropped directly on my foot, and I saw like the skin just boil. It was bubbling, popping. It burnt all the way down to the bone. It was the most excruciating pain. So you talk about your story and you're all calm. I've never been more a bitch in my life. Like I'm saying every cuss word, I'm crying, I'm fucking screaming. I don't know how bad this fire is, but it burnt my leg and my foot and my hand, and I'm naked. Like, please, I hope nothing else got burnt.
Right. Yeah.
So
everything okay?
Yeah. Fuck the foot. Like
everything.
Is everything okay? So I'm losing my mind. Luckily, everything else was okay. But the neighbors had to come in and put me in like a hot in a bathtub, and it's like 10 people in there, and I'm just naked, freaking out. Like it was just the worst experience. And it's cold outside. Yeah, like it was just horrible. But I say that to say, like, I'm glad you were able to handle your situation the way you did. But
those grease burns are for real,
man.
I got a bad one this last 5th of July, 4th of July.
Oh no, I stay away from grease, fire, kitchen.
Man, I had a Fry Daddy. I was cooking a whole bunch of stuff, and I got it all done. And here I'm thinking I'm going to move this from the house to the garage.
The kids were running in and out from the pool.
And
so the back porch was wet.
Back porch was wet. I stepped on someone's sandal or something. I don't know what it is, and the whole grease went all down my arm and my leg. Yeah, and so from my elbow down pretty much was
What?
Yeah, I lost the skin from here. I mean, it was a whole different color.
Right.
It was,
He comes in and he goes, I just spilled grease. I said, what the fuck are you moving hot grease? Like, who moved hot grease?
yeah.
Yeah, I know
I
better
didn't
now.
know who to be mad at. I didn't know if I was supposed to be mad at the
Who
kid.
raised you?
Yeah, my whole hand was messed up. My whole arm was messed up. I lost all the skin from here to like
It's like,
here.
are you mad at
That's
the kids or are you mad at
crazy.
him? Like, I didn't know who to be upset with because it's like, why are you moving hot grease?
Yeah.
Like, you literally just got done frying something, and the first thing that pops in your mind, oh, let me carry it out of the
You
house.
know how many times I've done that though? Like carried hot grease and never had an issue.
Well, you-
I
You
will,
did.
won't do it
I will
again.
never do it again. Yeah,
Yeah, I won't
I
do it
didn't
again.
cook again. So I got burnt. I was like 19. I didn't cook again until air fryers came out.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I don't
No more
trust
grease.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm like on the opposite end. I've been burnt so many times. Just
Oh no.
I love cooking, so like I'm burning myself all the damn time. Like I am probably one that should be bubble wrapped in a helmet when I got a grill because I'm just reaching in and grabbing in front of the flames. I'm
Oh,
just grabbing
man.
and flipping meats and
Yeah.
yeah.
See, that's my mom and grandma was like that. They just reach right in and flip it over, and then my bitch ass is like,
And that's hot.
I don't
Oh,
think I
man.
fry much anymore. I use my air fryer for everything.
I love
I
air
love it.
fryers. They are so amazing.
I don't know how to use them.
Just as good. It's so much easier, better. I think it tastes better. Like everything about the air fryer is.
So let's get into that when you get talking about, you know, the whole amenities and whatnot that come into a house when you're selling. So like we walked a house today, $500,000 house, and we're talking about grill sets and we're talking about,
Nice.
you
A
know,
very small washer and dryer.
very small
Very small.
washer and dryer. And then the difference between a gas stove and a,
Electric stove.
because they got 2 babies and we obviously have 6 between the 2 of us. So I was a big gas stove component type guy. Love how it
Not
cooks.
with that many chances, is what we'll call
well,
it.
I will never do it again. I will never have a gas stove again when you got little kids because we've came home multiple times and the gas is turned on or, you know, the kids love to be around when we're cooking and man.
and that can produce the carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh yeah, yep.
I've
and you
heard
can light a
about that.
damn match and turn a candle on and blow up your house.
Yeah,
Is
especially
it
if
that
it's been
easy?
running.
It's that
yeah,
easy.
if it's been running for a while. So, like Chloe,
Yeah, I've heard about like if the dial's just a little up.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
it runs. But just think, like we had a property. They went in, shut off the gas line. Like I was so mad. I have never in my life wanted to punch a tenant as bad as I wanted to punch this tenant. Like, mind you, we go in there and they're because you know they smell the gas.
Yeah.
Gas has been shut off. They wind up having to shut it off because they couldn't get into one of the apartments. Shut it off. So we have people constantly calling, oh, the gas not on. Yeah, it's not on because we haven't been able to find the source of the leak.
Yeah.
So now we finally get into this one apartment, the one that we have not been able to get into because either they weren't home, which we have keys for, but they have these 3 big ass dogs.
Big
So
mean
it's
dogs
like,
too.
I'm not
yeah.
going in there with these dogs.
Yeah, they're mean dogs
I'm
too.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think I'll go to jail if I shoot somebody's dog, if I tase
Yeah.
it, but you need to put your dogs away.
Yeah, facts.
So finally, I got fed up because every time we went, they weren't going. So I called them. I said, hey, and they didn't answer. I said, and I left a voicemail. I said, if you do not put your dogs away, I am going to call animal control and I'm going to get your dogs taken away from you because I need to get into this apartment. I need to find a leak. We go in there. Every single aisle is on.
Get out.
Hi. Like,
What?
The entire building, if they would have lit something, he
Would've
would.
gone.
I'm like, how do you not like the moment that they turned the gas back on to find the leak? It wasn't even 1 minute of opening his door and it all came out. And I'm just looking at him and he's just like calm.
He probably high. I mean, he probably high.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, do you not smell that? He goes, smells what? I was like, your fucking gas. He goes, oh, is that what that is? I was like, oh my God, how are you not dead?
Well, I was more concerned about the dogs. How are the dogs not dead? Because I'm a dog lover.
How
Yeah.
are you not dead if you lived your whole life not knowing what gas smelled like?
Well, and the thing of it is dogs are very common for turning on stoves. Like it is a common thing that a dog can turn on a gas stove because they like to get curious what's up there. Now, if it's an electric stove, they can't really turn it on because usually they turn on from the back of the thing, but the
Yeah.
gases are all on the front.
Mm.
And I was just like looking at him. And then it made me, then I was like looking and I thought about it. like, so I didn't say it to him, but I wanted to say it. I'm like, so you must not have washed your ass because this gas been turned off for 3 days, and everybody in this building's been complaining about it because they have no hot water and everything. Yep. You're the only tenant that does not seem so.
That's why I didn't know what that smell was.
What have you been in here doing?
Man. Yeah, he's smelling himself.
I was like, oh my God. And I just thought about it because Chloe loves to cook. She loves helping us cook.
Yeah.
And she can make eggs. She can make a lot of things.
Yeah. And
I'm just like, when we moved and I got the house in Marion, the first thing I noticed was a stove. I was like, oh no. And he's like, I love gas stoves. I hate them.
Yeah.
Because I'm okay with her, cooking certain stuff or learning more because of it being a flat top and being electric. So when you twist it, it comes off. But with gas, like most little kids gonna hear her ticking and not gonna think much of it because it's not lighting. Mm-hmm. So they're just gonna, probably sit there and wait for it to light. And then now you have gas layering in the house. Mm. And I'm like, I can't do it. I absolutely hate it. So I'm like, my next house, we cannot have a gas stove. This is what it is.
Because I love cooking them.
But yeah, he loves it. I hate them.
What do you think is the difference? Like,
it's an even cook. A gas stove. I mean, it is an even flame that goes across. So I mean, it's a quicker cook. It's an even cook. I mean, yeah. Electric stoves, you got to hope the whole coil's working, and if the whole coil ain't working, you're not getting an even cook. I mean, there's us guys that are cooking connoisseurs here. I mean, it is a better cook. It's like grilling outside. A charcoal grill is better than a gas grill because the charcoal gives it a better flavor, but it also takes a little longer to cook, and you got to know what you're doing on a charcoal grill because you got your hot spots and your cold spots, and you got to know. Yeah, so I mean, hey,
I would never.
All right, cook out at Lucas's.
He loves it.
Yeah, say less.
That's a retirement job, man. It's gonna be one of those pull-up trucks, those food trucks.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
this Old Smoky's pretty.
It's real good. Yeah. This Old Smoky's good as heck. So. Coming up, we're on the countdown right now, so we're 24 days away from presidential elections time. Quote me on this. We are that means we're probably 10 to 12 days away from some big dropping. Something big's gonna drop.
Okay.
Who knows what it is, and it's gonna really have an impact on the market. So I'm very curious whether it's gonna be a new bill that's coming out or.
Do you think it'll be related to the national disasters?
Oh, I'm sure something's got to go into it, or how you can vote, or something like that is gonna. Everything's gonna change. I mean, there's gonna be something that changes drastically in the next 10 days. So let's be aware for our next couple of episodes. I'm gonna be seeing
so
what
many people in Florida lost their IDs. You no longer need an ID to vote.
Yeah. Hey,
wonder which way that would sway things.
It's true. I mean, it's
always one of those little spins like, because these people are at a disadvantage, we're going to take advantage of everybody.
Oh, you can't hit a polling site. That's too bad that your polling sites have been blown away and you're in all red states.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah. Maybe they did drop that dry ice. No.
Yeah.
That's oh, man.
No, I want to look more into that, though.
Yeah.
There's no dry ice.
So, Tone, back to you. Let's go back to you.
Yeah.
With you being 16 days away from the music awards, what is your next big thing you got to get accomplished before this next week?
We got a couple hundred already, but I need probably 200 more people that I haven't been able to reach out to RSVP before Tuesday. I just gotta. What'd you say?
What happens if they don't?
Part of it is they don't get food. They don't even get a food option. So I've got to reach out to 200 people in the next 3 days. And I'm personable with everybody. Like, we have a relationship, even the people I don't know. I've met so many people, even in the last 2 weeks, that I've never even heard of, in cities I've never even named in Iowa. And that's just part of the music awards. But now, and that's why, it's just so many moving parts in it, because there's our submissions team that goes through every submission. There's our academy that makes the votes on who's winning. And then there's the artists that actually did submit that we've got to reach out to and say, hey, you're nominated. Hey, this is why you're not nominated. Hey, now that you are nominated, are you able to make it? Hey, now that you're able to make it, which has always been easy for me, it's now, hey, do you want food? This is how much food is, and you got to know in 3 days. That's kind of insane, and it's not cheap food. What'd you say?
Yeah, we're
Y'all
on the
getting food.
list.
Y'all getting food.
All right.
But I do need the rest sponsored by the 15th. But and that's just it's stuff that I don't like pressure like that. Like I like being able to tell people like, hey, it's taken care of. Like, get me when you can, or like, hey, I got you. And there's just so many variables from the venue to the hotel to the cook to the sound guy to the decorator to each band. We've got and it may not sound like a lot, but 8 performers. But these 8 performers, most of them have at least 5 to 10 people that's with them. So I've got to account for each person that's a performer. I've got to account for everybody that's a presenter. I've got to account for all of our sponsors. Then I've got to account for all of our nominees. And
So
I've got a team.
Right.
You have an assistant, right?
I have an assistant.
And
I've
you
got a
have
social media manager. I've got a
So
marketing
what
person.
Have you, because I know that you're just as horrible as Lucas.
I'm worse.
What have you delegated to your...
The problem, and I actually delegated a lot this year. The
Okay.
problem with delegating a lot is I had to go back and do it the way that I wanted it done. And
that's so true.
I try to be so lenient. Like, no, I can trust you, and I know you'll find your own way to do it. But there's reasons why my way works. And I have consultants. I have a consultant and an advisor that I run my, like, hey, I'm about to snap. Let me just recap what I'm about to say before I say it. And they like always go against what I say, except like when I'm just super right. And when they confirm, then I snap.
Yeah.
So, and I have these situations. I had one, and I love my team, and like most of my team work for like little to no money. They just work for perks, or there's opportunities for money that like, okay, you can get a commission from my work, but I don't have hourly wages. But specifically, I just had a situation. So something I don't want to do, because obviously I do a lot. We got this voting system, and this year there was over 2,500 votes. I gave somebody the responsibility, even though I had an AI tool to count these votes.
Jesus.
But they were like, I got it. I trust this person. This person's great. Good heart, good positive energy, and like just loves being a part of the team. She counted the votes by hand. I had so many calls. I won. How did this person win? I had to go back and count the votes. When I counted just one person wrong, I tried to fix the next few people, and then somebody else came back complaining, and then I had to recount them all. And it's like, I had a way to do this to begin with that would have saved all of us so much time, but I delegated, which I already don't like to do. But like, my time is better used orchestrating the event than counting comments. Yeah. But the votes are so important, and I had to explain that to somebody. Like, I get why they're important to the consumer, but for me, the votes is raising awareness. Every time you tag an artist in an Iowa Music Awards post, these people know what you've heard the name. We're branding. It's marketing. Like, for me, it's a business thing, and for them, it's a disconnect, because I'm like, why do you care so much? Like, it's almost the only part of the show that's a popularity contest. And it only matters if you're popular on that social media platform. So it's like, don't measure your greatness on that. And even at the awards, I always say, like, even if you don't win tonight, like, I don't say this, but it's like, fuck us, fuck our opinion. You won because you're here. Right. You did this. You're doing what you love. You already won. Now, our opinions is what, and our judging decides a winner, but don't feel like you lost anything. Everybody feels like if I didn't win, I lose. Like, and it sucks, but that's part of it.
You also think like you got your name out there. Mm-hmm. People got to recognize you and what it is that you do. So I wouldn't even take it as a loss, but more so as, all right, I know what to prepare myself for next time.
That's what I want. That's not the reality.
No, it's not.
And Lucas gave you a look like, oh yeah, my name's on the line, so that's why I don't delegate that well.
Yeah, PTSD.
Oh, you get it now, huh?
No,
so when it's not me, you
no.
get it.
Yeah, it's PTSD, and there ain't no lie about that. Because
Not good at it.
I'm great at it. It's just you. So the thing is with Manikka and most people in today's world, it's immediate. We got to see
Yep.
No.
what you're doing. It's immediate. It needs to be immediate and now. When I am a process person, so I'm like,
Trust the process.
I have an angle of where I'm trying to get and where I'm going to get to, so I gotta follow a process because guess what? I've not followed that process before and been burnt.
Exactly. I've
And
already
it created
failed in a way. In that
yep.
shortcut you're about to take, after I just gave you every step to do it exactly right,
Yep.
I already tried that shortcut.
Yeah.
I know why that shortcut doesn't work.
You're gonna
If you tell me you're going to try that shortcut, I will tell you why it won't work.
Well, in my line of work, with real estate and with staff and with HR, if I cut a corner on those, I'm sued.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
It's a liability.
And that's the thing too. When it's not your business, you don't have that personal connection or
Yes.
responsibility. So you will fuck up.
Yep.
You're more likely
Right.
to fuck up something you don't care as much about.
So let's just give an example. Let's give an example.
All right, Manikka is itching to say something.
No,
Let
yeah,
him
she
give
is.
his example
I
first.
just want to hear it.
So,
Okay.
So let's talk about
see
having
it.
to release staff. You let go of someone. Okay, this is an area that is in today's world. It's tough to do. I mean,
Yes.
it's tough to do because you got to worry about unemployment, you got to worry about discrimination, you got to worry about so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because I'm a male owner,
Mm-hmm.
and so there has to be a process that you go through that is, it is step by step. Whether good employee, bad employee, maybe they just made a mistake type situation, so on and so forth, or maybe they're just awful.
Yep.
And they don't give a fuck about what you do for a living.
Yep.
Okay, we run into that in our line of work.
Mm-hmm.
And Manikka, as a loving spouse, likes to be burn them, cut their legs off,
Yeah,
get
why
rid
do they
of them
still
now,
work here?
What is going on?
That's
blah,
not
blah, blah.
true.
And
And
you
now,
know-
now she's mad
No,
at me every
it's
time the
not.
name
That's
comes
not.
up.
But now I gotta give a little bit of empathy. People are gonna hate me for this empathy, but as a white male,
Yeah.
firing a black female is probably the hardest.
It is. It's so true.
You
And
can't
that's-
do.
You got to think about who you're trying.
HR are gonna be like, "You sure you want to do this?"
Yeah,
like,
you got to do this.
All right, here comes the lawyers.
It's better that I give them an
She
opportunity.
hasn't
to
shown up for 2 weeks. Yeah,
And they
but
still have a job.
Exactly. So there's still, and that is the reality of my position.
I'm not saying he's firing any black people. I hope nobody, because I know you got black people that work for you. But I'm just saying,
Right. But it is an example of the situation. It's one of those that, once again, I create the expectation. I do the write up. Did they fail again? Did they fail again? Okay, they're failing again. Now they'll leave themselves. Because
and here's another little piece of empathy that I bet most non-business owners don't think about. I'd rather you not show up and I don't pay you than fire you, then I fire you for not showing up and you collect unemployment for 6 months.
Right.
Where
Now
you're
my
still not
insurance
showing
goes up. Yeah, everything goes up. Yeah, so it's one of those things that, we get so damn busy that, they are filling a purpose for this time being, and I don't have time to fire them right now.
Imagine the businesses where I got to hire a trainer to retrain a new person and they quit after 2 days.
Oh, man. And, in property management, it's not a very glorious position to be in property management because you deal with a lot of stressful stuff. Same thing with real estate.
And something I have to commend you on is a lot of your staff, and we need to bring the girls back. But how are they still here? We did that episode almost a year ago.
Yep.
And like life happens and interests change.
Yep.
But you don't have, from what I see, you don't have a high turnover rate. Like your people
at certain
stick with you.
positions you do, because a handyman, they get greedy. And as soon
That's all
as
it is.
they don't realize that we're a volume company and we're going to make sure you never have to look for another job.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll get greedy, or they think they know better, or they'll get comfortable and they'll
Yep.
get lazy on the job
Yep.
type situation. And then it really affects the tenant side.
Mm-hmm.
And then that affects the investor side. So that's a big trickle down effect. Now
Yep.
you get into our showers, there's usually a pretty good stay rate with those. Bree just got a promotion this week. So congratulations, Bree.
Hey, shout out to Bree.
Yeah. And we got people in the waiting to come in. I mean, so it is one of those things that honey, it just ain't one of those where you can snap a finger and make a choice and make a decision. And every time that name comes up, it shouldn't be put in the doghouse for 3 days because, like, God damn.
We're getting real specific here, Lucas.
Yeah.
I don't expect for you to snap a finger. I just feel that Lucas is, and it's not bad, but he is he's not your typical boss. Mm-hmm. The company is not your typical company because of the fact, and I think that's where our difference comes. Yeah. Because if you were somewhere else, oh, baby, you would have been fired a long time ago. Right. Yep. And he's so lenient and he's just so understanding, especially because he tries to make sure that everything stays as a family oriented. And because we have kids, everyone has kids, things happen. Yep. But when you have people
that take advantage of it,
continue to take advantage of it. Like you said, your 5 slap. The fucking 5 slap comes around about 40 times before something happens. I mean, and when I say before something happens, I mean before a write-up happens, before a conversation happens, before it's like, damn, how many times she gonna slap herself?
Okay, but Manikka, you have to think about morality.
That, but in morality, you can never get someone out of the door to avoid unemployment or everything if you don't take the first step, which is a verbal conversation, and then a write-up, and then, doing the steps that you need to do to either, one, this person's going to get on track, or this person knows your next step is going to be a termination, because of the fact when you're going through these steps in any other company, it's pretty much laid out to you. It's laid out in the handbook, but you don't follow the handbook.
That's where me and Lucas definitely are very similar. Yeah, we're not just any other company.
It's not about
no, we're not.
And it's not like, oh, we're way better than everybody else, but that's just
different.
Well, and there's not a next in waiting either, so that just means
filling these positions aren't easy.
Well, and when I got 3 openings, I'm hiring 6.
You're not hiring 6 because they get dropped on my lap. So that's what I'm saying. So you have this person that's sitting here, slapped herself 40 times. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slap, bitch. Didn't happen. Okay? No write-up. No conversation. No anything. So now, she's just here getting paid, doing nothing. But her
she
task,
or he.
Yeah, whatever. Them. It.
That
not. No.
Them, they, who, they.
We're just trying not to be specific. We're not trying to be pronoun correct.
It's he, okay.
She. Just whoever. An example, hypothetical.
Yeah.
It's equal opportunity.
It's very, it doesn't matter what you are.
Yes.
Yeah. But when they don't do their job automatically rolls over to me being reliable and it being on my plate. Why? Because I'm his significant other. So when they drop the ball and they don't do it, now I have to pick it up. So if I have to do my job, his job, her job, that job, why the hell are they here?
For the days that they do their job.
They don't.
That way, every day isn't like this where my significant other is stressed.
All right, 3 hours out of the day.
I'm having these same conversations. Why do you work with that person? Oh, it's pretty cheap labor. I can't reteach this. Yeah, they're not consistent, but when they show up, that's one less job I have to do. And in your situation, that's one less job you have to do when they show up.
When they show up, I still do their job. So
and keep in mind, so with her, she feels like she needs to dabble in all the areas where we
and that would have been Lucas, you two alike, because that would have been my solution. Stop interacting with that person.
That's exactly.
Don't worry about what they're doing. That's between me and that person. Stop bringing it up. Yep. Let's just be happy. We're at a movie right now. Like, why are you bringing this up?
Yeah, huge fight me and her have gotten into. So I'm like. Okay, so you want to complain about having to do this job, so I've made it so you don't even need to worry about it.
Yeah.
I made it where you can stay home.
But what are they doing? None of your business.
Yeah, that's not your business. I got it.
I'll deal with it. I don't like how you're dealing with it.
Until you come home about how you had a long day and you're so stressed out and you can't do this. You can't do the task I actually do because you had to do this, and now your plate is full and you still haven't done this, and that, because you decided instead of trying not to throw the job on me, that you're gonna try to do it when you can't even get to it because I help you with yours.
Well, anyway, so I created a position called a liaison.
Yes.
Doesn't work.
I'm the liaison.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
I created myself a position. So if you need to talk to her, you come to me.
Yep.
If you need to talk to him, you come to me.
For me to get the information that I needed.
All she's got to do is do what she normally does. Come in my office and just bother me. Yep. And it's there. And so
as a liaison, you're supposed to come and relay the message to me, not me go
when
strike
I
you
got a
down.
minute.
Yeah, that's like 3 weeks later.
So the kicker to the situation is
Doesn't work.
the liaison position works fine
work?
if everybody follows the process.
Yeah.
But if you want a process in place, then you need to follow the process.
Mm-hmm.
And she's seen the full result of the process that I've had over the last month. Have you not this last week?
Have you been a liaison on a new person?
No, the process. It came to full tuition this last week, hasn't it? I said, just give it some time so I can do the follow-up. I can make sure they did the thing. Did it? Okay, and now they're going to force themselves out.
Can I add on to that?
No, now we're good on that.
No, yeah,
Okay.
we don't want any details.
Yeah,
I'm not
we
going
have
into
listeners.
details.
We have listeners.
The process went because I helped you.
Oh my God, you got to be crazy. You hurt the process. like I'm telling you, like my ex, when my ex would ever come into the office, it was like maybe 5 times in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I literally spent a week cleaning up behind her. It was like a tornado came through because like, who are you? How much do we pay you? Blah, 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 blah type situation. I can't have it.
Yeah, you can't explain.
Yeah, but you can't do that to employees. It's the same thing with her, where she thinks she's helping. It's hurting because she'll come through and she'll have the RBF face.
Resting face.
Yeah. She'll have that face coming through the office, and then I'll get texts like, "This is a hostile environment," or you need to have a conversation with her because this is how she came off, or I'll get a phone call from an investor, and the investor will be like, "Hey, she's not happy today, huh?" And
This,
I'm like,
this is something I think will be great to close on because it's definitely, well, it's a situation
Very
that
nice.
I'm flirting with the idea. Like, obviously, like you guys met my significant other, and it's like, do I bring her into the business so she can understand why I'm so busy and have a better understanding of my life, or do I keep that separate? Because it seems like with you guys, there's not a way to, when I go home, we turn it off. Because with both of you, it's still business, or you didn't do this today and you didn't do that today, versus when I go home by myself or meet my significant other later, I remember all the things I didn't do. But if she was to remind me, there's just
drive you bonkers.
Yes.
It does.
Drive you bonkers.
It's a difference. It's a difference. We have a cutoff point.
Oh, good.
We do have
Because
a
I was like,
cutoff
how do
point.
you cut it off? Because with our powers combined, it's great. We're a force to be reckoned with. But also with our powers combined, it's almost double the weight, because we're both trying to handle it, and you'll think about something from work earlier and we're still talking about it while I'm at home.
It gets very frustrating. Like, for instance, going into real estate is not something that I've thought about or wanted to do. I'm perfectly fine with buying properties and doing that. But Lucas is very big on me getting my real estate license and doing all that, because in the end, it would help him out and I learn more and benefit more from it more. Do I want to do it? No, but I will do it.
Yep.
But together, we get a lot of things done. We accomplish a lot of things. There's times when we're technically off or whatever, and something will pop up in my head, and I'll go over it, and I'll be saying it to him, and he'd just be like, "Look,
We're
I don't want to talk about it."
We're off the clock.
And so it's
we're
like,
not. Nope.
It's like, okay, whatever. So we have this thing now that we do, whether once we off the clock and we're doing something or we're going somewhere, we set a cutoff time. So it's like, okay, in this cutoff time, we come up with a list of what we still need to get done, what we need to move forward for the next week, and X, Y, and Z. And then if there's work that has not got done, we will do it. Or most of the times he's doing it and I'm watching TV, or if I'm watching TV, we pretty much at 7, sometimes 8 o'clock at night, it's done. We're not doing anything else. I get upset because sometimes after 8 o'clock, he has people that calls him and take phone calls, and it's like, yeah, no, it's the cutoff time. Like, wait till tomorrow, because you have some real estate people that won't answer after 5. Like, no.
I've been struggling with that, Lucas. So I need you to elaborate on that, because there's hey, you said this will be my time and you weren't going to be in your phone. And I'm like, this don't turn off. When you're like CEO, they're like, last night I'm with my girl, and this artist is texting me at literally 1 a.m, like, hey, how do I get paid for shows? And like, that's something I'm so passionate about that we're sending paragraphs back and forth, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "This is what I love." Like, and I'm a night out anyway, so like it doesn't bother me. Like, hey man, this is beyond business hours, but no, these are the conversations I live for. So, how do you balance that when your significant other's like, it's we're past this time. This is inappropriate, but this is who you are. But you can't let it be your only identity. What are you doing, Lucas? Do you have the answers?
No, I just turn my phones over. I mean, I turn them over or turn them on.
But what if it's something you want to be involved in?
At 1 a.m.?
How do you're making a sacrifice for your significant other? Have you discussed?
My non-negotiable is my kids and my dog, and my kids and Manikka. They're my non-negotiable. Like if we're sitting down, like when we have supper, no phones at the table, nothing.
Okay.
If we're out on a date, same thing. Keep that thing off to the side. Yep. And I would say it's my non-negotiable. She is a phone owl, so it's like she'll be on her phone 24, and I'll have to like, even like when we go on cruises.
Oh, she's the problem.
She is, absolutely. So like the rule when we go on cruises is you don't ask questions about where we're going, what's going on.
Yeah.
So no questions. It's just enjoy the ride.
Yep.
And put your damn phone down.
Okay.
So there's a difference when the kids can't get a hold of him, they start blowing me up.
Yeah.
So if you start bouncing back and forth, it's like, okay, maybe it's something. Then it pisses me off when it's nothing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, I could have just ignored you. Yeah. But you gotta answer.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we need to start thinking about doing a couples podcast.
I feel like this is starting about every other episode. That's what's happening. I am your therapist. Instead of telling the boss, this is Antonio today. Dr. Chalmers.
Dr. Chalmers in the house.
No, but I love this. I love what we do. I think we got a couple more episodes this season left. I got some really cool guests I'm excited to bring on. And we're going to keep talking real estate and keep sipping whiskey.
Yes,
Cheers.
Sir. Cheers.